Yeah, Scott, my role is I'm responsible for the development of mission at EV, internal and external, by which we mean local mission, mission within the local area on the Central Coast, and mission outside of us, which means Australia-wide and overseas. And I do some work with the MTS guys, just developing some of them. It's something we've really come to by trial and error over a long period of time, thinking through what is it that prevents people from, Christians from growing in their willingness to communicate the gospel to other people, and what is it that we need to do as a church to help them become better at that. Three things I've identified are conviction, that is a person's conviction and confidence that the gospel is the truth, that the Bible is the Word of God, that there really is such a thing as hell, that these things matter, that Jesus is the only way to God. Deep conviction about those kind of things is the thing that we've identified as the one attribute that causes people to communicate the gospel. And their doubts in those things are the things that erode their confidence to do that. So there's the first thing, and conviction, from my mind, begins with assurance of salvation. And secondly, confidence. I think confidence that in a whole bunch of realms, confidence personally that if they were to tell someone the gospel, they'd know what to say. If they were asked questions, they'd know somewhat how to answer them. And fundamentally just the confidence that people are becoming Christian. That as the gospel is communicated to people, they're seeing people, at least in their church, and among their friends around them, coming to Christ. And that's been a key factor to develop people's confidence in those things. And finally, just connection. The fact that Christians are connected to no non-Christian people with whom they've begun some sort of rudimentary conversation about the gospel. I think it was expressed in the Connect 09 program that 60% of Australians don't know a Christian, and in as much as that's a problem for our Christians, that will limit their ability to communicate the gospel. So we want to help people be connected to their non-Christian friends and be able to begin the conversation about Jesus. Well, the preaching at the outset is one of the key things about developing a person's conviction. We want to make sure that we're demonstrating that the Christian worldview is a robust worldview that actually has answers to the kind of objections that the world is throwing at them, particularly the aggressive new atheist kind of lobby, but the many different worldviews that are around. And so we want to preach at a level that isn't simply a neat 3-point sermon, but we want to challenge people's worldview and build a robust Christian worldview. And that for mine is the heart of conviction. There's a bunch of other things that go along with that. Of course, it's dealing with the doubts that people have about the issues that I mentioned before. So they need a strong view of the Scriptures, a doctrine of the Scriptures, and so we want to model that in the way we teach the Bible at EV. That's perhaps one of the key things we'd be doing at that level. Training has a role to play, and it has a role to play in the area of developing a person's confidence. But my observation is that lots of training in evangelism is wasted because it's never implemented, and so you need some way of implementing training as quickly as you possibly can. And sometimes that is simply in an event that perhaps all churches run, inviting along those people who want to grow in their skills so they can see real non-Christian friends asking real questions, and they can begin to grapple with how those questions are answered and how those around them who are better trained actually are answering them. Those are some of the important things, I think, in developing a person's confidence. And connection, well, there's various things we do to try to put in people's hands just a simple question that they can ask their neighbours at a period during the year, perhaps at Easter time or at Christmas time, that helps them initiate the conversation. It's kind of constructing the conversation for people and giving them the excuse to go and ask.